For any of our digital audience members who are watching this at a later date, our July prompt submission was Flash. For each of our prompts, we provide a duration. Frame rate is always 24 frames per second, and then we also provide a color scheme. And there's not a lot more to say about that, except, hey, Paul's back. So, oh gosh. There we go. Big old stop presenting button. There we go. That's what I needed.
Professional. Very, very professional. Okay, we'll try this again, and I'm going to pick, let's see, what was that? That was FASTA 1. There we go. Now let's try this again with, wait.
Someone joined.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, no, I should be sharing.
Yep, you're sharing.
Yeah, the perpetual, like, can everyone see my screen? Okay, yeah, we're good. All right, so let's take a look at this.
Oh, we got the audio and everything.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn the audio down a little bit this time, so we can look at this. I was really loving this. Can you tell me, are you doing some frame by frame on
Can you
here?
go full screen on that, Paul?
Yeah, I'll see if it will. Well, it's at least bigger.
Yeah. That's so pretty. I love all the textures, Hannah.
Thanks.
Is there anything you want to talk about or share on this?
Well, with this one, I just knew I wanted to make something with a new tapered stroke feature.
Yeah. Which we're going to talk about.
In After Effects. So basically the blue line is just a tapered stroke, but there's also an option within the tapered stroke for wave, and then changing the phase of the wave. So I just sync that up with the audio track.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how long did that take you to do then, roughly?
2-3 hours. I don't know.
Nice.
Wow.
I did it after. I basically crammed it in after I did my actual client work. I'm like, yeah, I gotta make a submission. Well, I haven't used tapered stroke yet.
That's a good excuse to do it.
Did you do the whole thing in After Effects? Or were
Yeah, it's all After Effects.
Oh, wow.
The textures and the movement definitely imply some, like, frame by frame.
Yeah, it feels very hand-drawn and organic, even though kind of it's not at this point. But
yeah, I think one thing that helps with the hand-drawn feel is kind of that smear effect. As it quickly rotates, it elongates and kind of smears that you see in a lot of traditional animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to kind of sell that effect, I just comped everything and then used a twist modifier to add more twist the larger the movement.
Hannah, I'm so thrilled that not only did you submit last prompt, but you also submitted this prompt, and just like the stark visual difference between these two prompts is just incredible. Like, you've shown that you're a very versatile artist, and I hope you feel proud of yourself.
It was a really fun piece. I don't normally do things that are this abstract, so it's really fun.
Yeah, it turned out really cool. And I was gonna say too, I think the other thing that kind of lends to the hand-drawn feel is all these little flourishes kind of on the side here that are kind of expanding out from the middle. It just has a really nice organic feel to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Little later on, the little orange chevron characters that pop out, that's using particular. But the white lions, that's actually just a video file. So I didn't really make that in After Effects. I just used a video file. Kind of like those anime lines. That's what that is.
No, it all feels really cohesive too, which is sometimes hard to achieve when you're throwing, particular and a flat video file and, vector shapes all together, but it all works together really well.
Thanks.
If anyone else has anything they want to add before we move on.
Just that this like totally blows open for me what you can do with After Effects, which is super
Okay.
inspiring.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
Woo.
And because I'm sharing my screen, I have no idea who said that, but yay.
That was Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
I need to work better on my naming schemes, though.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Fast _01.
Fast_01.
I mean, if
This
anything,
is-
it's just impressive because it's like you got it out on the first try.
I was gonna say this is like how all my stuff is named. It's just like a generic name and then a version number.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will move on. And let's see.
Oh,
Well,
we have an entry.
ooh. Is Adam here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, then we'll share yours. If you weren't here, I would wait. But since you are here,
And
we'll
then
look at Adam's.
to our newcomer, just a heads up, we are recording for future audience, so your pictures, you're on screen.
All right, let's take a look at Adam's. Is there anything you want to say before we take a look at it, or should we just go right into it?
Well, it's like Hannah, I was like practicing. What is it called? Track match, where you kind of make line segments move. That was the impetus for it, and I spent like hundreds of hours on it, or so it seems. But anyway, open to whatever feedback. Let her rip.
All right, let's take a look.
Nice. Yeah, a little bit at the end. Love it.
Ah,
Oh,
just blew my
color.
mind a little bit.
For whatever reason, I couldn't make it a GIF so that it would just loop endlessly. But so, anyway, there it is.
We'll imagine it just loops seamlessly. Yeah, this is nice. I was looking at this, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen in the second half? And I was like, oh, now it's blue liquid. It's blue milk.
Right.
I think you got some nice elements in here, though. The just the movement of the liquid within the straw feels
yeah.
very, very natural. Like the way it kind of, it never makes it all the way down right away. It's always kind of like a little give and take before it gets all the way down there. And the little sploosh at the very end that comes out of the straw. It's making me thirsty, really.
I really like how you've got the blue matched to the background, but then that stark line of the glass really sets it apart. So it's like, it's very cohesive, but then you also have that nice stark line to make sure that you can like tell the difference, which is cool.
Yeah, you have that contrast so we don't lose our focus. Did you have like a couple different track mats for your liquids, or were you animating by hand like a crazy person?
So like I said, I spent so many times doing it, but like I did the milk version and then just made a duplicate of that pre-comp and made it the water. So when I went back and wanted to futz with it, then I had to futz with both of them. But then with the water or with the liquid going down, I added, I think, like a wave effect. So it kind of is active inside the glass. So it's sort of happening by their algorithm as opposed to what might be realistic. But
How did
I mean-
you?
and it was like a big challenge to figure out how to, get that straw inside the milk, but then also inside the water. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it necessarily. Well, it's fine.
Hannah, you were about to ask a question.
I really enjoy watching the liquid going up and down the straw.
Right?
How did you do that? Is that like a trim paths or something? I
Yes,
noticed it even
that's-
has a little rounded edge on it too, which is very nice.
Yes, trim paths, not a track map, but a trim path. So that was kind of what I was
Okay.
playing with. So it's just a line.
Very, I don't know, I just can't stop watching it.
Yeah, the fact that you have like the glass outline and the straw outline, and they're both like able to like animate so they have that relation, but they're still separate entities is like very technically not an easy thing to do. So kudos, Adam.
Thank
I
you.
think you did a really great job on it.
Thanks. These challenges are great. I appreciate it.
Good to
You
hear.
hear that, Paul? We're great.
Yay!
I didn't say you were great. I said the challenge.
Well, we'll at least keep putting the challenges up. We maybe won't show our faces as much
You
then.
guys are benevolent. I think that's
Or malevolent, depending on
right.
when you ask Ed.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, right on. Was there anything else you wanted to mention, Adam?
Nope. Thanks for looking.
Thanks for
All right.
submitting.
Cool. Well, I do believe that Todd is here.
Yes.
Okay.
Or at least he was. Did he leave?
Todd.
I don't see him
I
anymore.
don't see him anymore. Oh, it says Todd Drager is also here.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, Todd's here. Just staying quiet in the background, or
All right.
went to the bathroom or something. I don't know. Well, Todd,
Sorry,
whether you...
just couldn't get my mic to come up back on. I'm
yeah.
here.
Excuses. Okay, so we will take a look at Todd's, which is in Dropbox. So we'll see how that plays, because sometimes Dropbox is not very nice.
Oh, snap.
Yes. Music is awesome. I love this synthwave, like 80s sci-fi vibe in the background. We have lots of texture going on this time.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can...
Yeah, those were some fun textures. I've been wanting to play with them for a while, so this was a good prompt to do that with.
And so you said you wanted to play with these for a while. Where did they come from?
Grayscale Gorilla. I had they give out. They have usually use them in cinema, but they're all just JPEGs and stuff anyway. So I thought I'd use them for this. But
So, Todd, is there anything you want to talk about with this piece?
I was just experimenting. Haven't had much reason to just animate text, for a while. So just thought I'd play around with that a little bit, and getting back to just doing some basic, animation stuff, rotating things and whatnot, and then had no real reason to ever do, the stretching text or, a lot of trails, echoes type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So thought I'd play around with that some, and
There's a lot of little things that are working really well for you here, like the fact that the rotation on the F when it came in, like it didn't have even timing, but like it had different pacing for that. And then when you use the camera to zoom in to that extreme close up, and then the like blur effect as the word fast animates on, like that's all very well done and like very consciously, like you've made decisions there, I can tell, and I think it looks great.
thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I sketched out. My son and I would always draw every day, so I just did some thumbnails of different ideas. Had many more that would have liked to have animated, just didn't have time to do everything. So, but yep. Sometimes along the way, you just find happy little things and just go with it too. So it wasn't all planned from the beginning. Some of it I just made up as I went, and
Sure.
other parts, like hopping over that little indent in the ground. I'd already animated the text and just put a hop in there because I wanted to.
Yeah, the hop it's very cute. And I mean that in the most sincere way possible. I know some people don't like the word cute, but it's just like, oh, that's very well done, is all I'm trying
No,
to
I
say.
wanted to put something in there that was, not too serious or whatever with everything. So a little bit of, squash and stretch on
Yeah, for sure.
the subtle, not trying
Mm-hmm.
to make it overly cartoony or anything like that. But anyway, I was having some problems with some of those textures. I was using tile repeaters and stuff on it, and some of them just I'd keyframe it and it would play fine even in a pre-comp or something, but then it wouldn't actually move. So I'm like, okay, why is this stuck? There's no reason for it to be stuck, So there's always little weird hangups. Another thing, the iris, I was doing the little iris wipe just with a vignette, and I was working in 32-bit, and it was working fine for a while, and then it looked all garbled and everything in the beginning. But then it rendered out fine, so I don't know why it was, with a RAM preview, why it was looking bad.
Sure.
That was fine later, so always those fun things.
Yeah.
Does anyone have
What did
any?
you do with the stretching of the text at the last point?
That's all
where
by hand, shape layers. All the letters are individual, so they're all shape layers, and just animate the points. So just started out with the F. I wanted it to lead and kind of pull the others along. So I've seen a lot of the stretching text, but nobody that's really done it, kind of italicized and stuff too. So I thought I'd try that a little bit. And
Yeah, I've seen a lot of just like the pure stretches, or like taking one side and kind of stretching out a little bit. But I mean, giving it that little slant to it makes it really feel like it's just being pulled along.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of fun to play with. I've seen a lot of people do these different things, with the trails and stuff like that, echoes, the black and white and everything. But this was, I liked all the colors too. It was a fun opportunity to put those on these textures. I enjoyed doing that. Trying to get out of just too much black and white or whatever, using a lot of colors I don't normally use. So that was fun. But the stretching of the text was just, grabbing the points, keyframing those, and then adding in the slant just to the skew on the shape layers.
Did you edit the shape of the F at all while it was rolling in?
The S, no, I didn't edit the shape of the S.
Or I meant the F.
The F,
Yeah.
I did. Yes, I put squash and stretch rig kind of on that. So
I was going to say I could see it kind of like squishing and stretching while it was rolling. I thought that was a really nice feature too.
Thanks. Yeah, right. But right before it makes its little hop, I wanted to give it a little something extra there. So there's a little bit of a squishiness to it to spring it up. I just built a little rig for that on the F, not on any of the others. I figured just practiced on that one, and then
Cool.
Very well done, Todd.
Thanks. That's modulation inside the fast when it kind of glows before it shoots off. So that's another effect, I guess. I tried to not use too many effects because I do a lot of compositing and effects work, but I always want to throw a few things in here and there. Just kind of want to just animate objects moving around, shapes, stuff like that. So
it almost reminds me of that plugin Newton when I first watched it come in. It kind of had like such a natural feel to it. That letter F.
Oh, thanks.
That's really nice.
Yeah, what are you? What were you using to get the roll? Because it's obviously not just a rotation; it's hitting, rolling along the edges. And I know there are some scripts to take care of that, or did you do that by hand?
I've done it by hand before. So this was another thing I wanted to. I have by hand. You would just attach nulls to every corner, and then you're rotating the nulls that are all parented to the letter. So it's all rigged together. So if you want to do it by hand, you would just rotate down till the next null hits the ground, and then you rotate that null. So I've done that before, but I had the script roll it from 80 scripts. Yep. So I used that for a good portion of it, except for when, of course, when the squash and stretch comes in, I have to alter the timing and what it was naturally doing. So I thought it would be, I didn't want to just use it straight and just roll it right in. Wanted to see what else you could do with it, if you had to do something slightly different. So I figured I'd put a little hop in there. But I got that script a long time ago and hadn't had anything I needed to roll. So I'm like, all right, let's use that. So,
Yeah, Roll-Out's one of those magic scripts that I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing magic underneath the hood.
absolutely. Pretty cool. It's a fun script. But then, I mean, I went back in and changed the timing on it too, to, in the evening and everything. So it wasn't just, 2 keyframes and you roll away or whatever. But
Yeah. Cool. Well, those are our submissions for this
played.
month.
I didn't have time to put it up on Vimeo, so I just threw it in the Dropbox.
You know what? We were able to watch it, so that's all that matters.
Yay.
Yeah, no worries. We're just glad people submitted. Paul, did you want to keep rolling, or should we switch to me to share my project and then go back to you?
Yeah, you can show your project before we move on to some of the other things like the new features and stuff like that. So,
Alrighty, so I'm going to stop presenting again and turn things back over to Paul.
yay, me. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the After Effects new features, and I'll share the whole screen this time. I like when I ask to share my whole screen and Google's like, which screen do you want to share? I'm like, the one that I have. So After Effects is moving into more of a this is the last release. They're moving into more of a monthly release cycle, and there's not always big hot new things that are coming. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, but what we're starting to see is maybe a little bit less excitement, because if you look at the beta stuff that they're like, hey, look what we're going to do soon, then it's not like a month later there it is in the release version. So one thing that came up from Hannah's piece and from some other conversations, don't remember if it was Matt or somebody else who had said that they used tapered strokes. That's now officially in After Effects, as are concentric shape repeaters. I'm not sure if that's anything that people are super interested in, but it's fun little radial waves, and I'll show this in a second. Something, if you're a Mac user and are using Bluetooth headphones and plugging in and out of monitors that have speakers or something attached, now the audio will automatically follow what you're plugging in. So no more going to preferences and saying, no, I want to listen to my Bluetooth headphones instead. So that was something that I know was a fair annoyance for a lot of people, and now is a lot easier to use. And excuse me, the other things, these are kind of more technical side of things, but now there's ProRes RAW. I don't know anyone that's using it, but it's available natively now in After Effects, as well as if you're using team projects. Does anyone use team projects? It's like one of those things that sounds great, but I don't know anyone that's actually used them. It has some just nice to have features in there about making sure to copy media in the right places, and collaboration within documents if you're working remotely. But these are the big two things: the tapered strokes and shape repeaters. So I'll just show. I didn't have this too well prepared, so forgive me for just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. But we now have, let's turn this off. If you go into our favorite thing to do in After Effects, twirling down triangles. Yay! So now under strokes, we have taper and wave. So let's make this a little bit wider. And you can, I think we showed this last time. So if you weren't at the last meeting, this is brand new. If you were there, it's pretty much the same as beta. It's still working. But it's stable. It's working now in release, so you can add it in there. And what Hannah was talking about too is you have this wave feature, which worked out really well in there. You can get these nice little shapes in there and can move them around. So you can really work with some nice, get some nice effects in here. Like if we're talking about like using leaves and stuff before, I know that was something that was mentioned. I was gonna So you might have something like this. We'll make it green, because why not? And what's nice about this too is that they do stack. So previously I have not really done a whole lot of stacked stroke effects, just because I don't know, never really need to use them that much. Let's get the shape. So you can really kind of have nice control over the way these strokes will work together. Yeah, let's see. Oh, because we'll get those all the way down to 0. And then if we want to, we can add another stroke. We'll put it on top. We'll make this one, say, white. Oh, it did both of them. Thanks, After Effects. That's what I wanted to do. But you can get some nice little extra details in here. So now we have one path layer, and we have this nice little leaf. If we wanted to, we could just animate this this one path, and we have a nice little animated leaf that we can blow in the wind. So tapered strokes are definitely cool. They have a lot of stylistic, fun things to do in them.
Nice leaf.
Why, thank you. I'm actually going to quit my job, and I'm just going to draw leaves in After Effects now. That's
It's a good thing I was muted because I laughed so hard at that.
yeah, and then the other thing they have, and let's get this little chunk here, is the concentric shape repeater, which I haven't used a whole lot, but what's kind of nice is that you can take your shape layer here. Let's just turn off everything but A, just because. So we'll see what happens with this since it's got merged effects in here. What this does now is that previously for your shape repeater, this is kind of what it would do. You have your number of copies, and it would take everything before it and move it over and adjust scale, things like that. Let's see, where's it? Okay, then rotate. Actually, why am I not seeing? Is it offset paths that has that now? Oh, offset, never mind. It's not repeater, even though they called it that. So offset paths, we'll do this with a stroke instead so we can see it, which will now give you copies where previously it didn't have that. So you can have this nice little radial effect, and it's with a really thin stroke that's kind of messing with my eyes. But yeah, this is another kind of new thing. You can just kind of have some fun transitions that you could probably do with this. A lot of psychedelic, old retro stuff, or tunnels, or other things. Like I said, I haven't fully figured out what I'm going to do with this yet, but it's another nice thing to have. And I'm always a fan of combining stuff. So if you do offset, and then we'll do a trim path after that, you can either do all of them at once, you can do them individually, we do some offsets. So you can see you can get some nice little like glitchy, fun kind of things with that as well.
Someone's just gonna have a party with this. I know it.
Just keep dragging that slider around.
Yeah.
Or we can let's see what happens. We do that, and then we do another offset paths after that. Then we're just getting crazy.
Oh man.
And then you do another trim paths after that one, and now we just have like I don't even know what's going on anymore. But
it's like I'm watching a White Stripes video. I love
it. So those are the two big things in shape layers that are around. But I think the tapered strokes are probably going to get more attention just because they're more fun to play with. And I think it's, at least for me, it was easier to see how I would use that more so than the offset paths copy, which is still fun to have, but just not quite sure how I'm going to use that. You can make it. Ooh, there we go. You can round the joins.
Whoa.
Right? That's like, whoa. And out. And with
Nice.
that, so that is the new features. I don't know if anyone has any questions about them or has played with them and wanted to talk about any of their experiences so far. I know Hannah, you had used them in your prompt submission.
Yep, it was good.
Yeah.
That is a factual statement.
That is indeed a fact.
You're right. It does says shape repeaters.
Yeah, so it's consent. So, but then it does say here, offset paths. So, who knows?
Probably like the marketing person was just like, "Oh, you need to use shape," even though you have a shape tool and it's called something else.
So does it only offset paths, or would it also offset the fill? Or I don't know.
So it's going to offset. I don't know if you can see me because I'm sharing the screen, but I'm gesturing with my hands.
We see you.
Oh, then I should pay more attention to what I'm doing. So what it's going to do is it's going to take the maybe an A isn't the right thing to do. Like if I let's take a polygon. Sure, a triangle works. And so what this is going to do is it's just working on the path itself. So whatever you have after that, whether it's a fill or a stroke, will work on those. So let's say if I do an offset paths here, I think with a fill, you're not going to see much, but we'll find out because it's just giving you multiple paths, but then filling them all in. So if I put my stroke on here,
Whoa,
that's huge. Okay, and that went really far down.
I mean, but I have done something like that before, where a circle animated on, and then I had rings of other circles behind it, and I wanted to offset it, so I didn't just parent it. I keyed each one and shifted their keyframes over. But now knowing that, I can just make all those shapes with one layer now, that's kind of exciting.
So we do get kind of trippy here, which I'm just realizing if you do a fraction of a copy, it works off the path, and so you get these weird fills kind of happening, which maybe that could be a cool thing to do. I don't know, but
All I can see with these repeaters is HUD elements.
Oh, totally, yeah. And that's another thing too. Because I mean, the nice thing about all this shape layer stuff, as much as I hate, dealing with twirly hell down here, being able to stack all these different effects can do some kind of cool stuff depending on where you put it. Like if I put this repeater before my stroke and fill, they just kind of overlap in this weird way, which could be kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you put it after, it's going to take this entire resulting shape and repeat it over and over again in different ways. So you can kind of do some interesting things with that.
Oh man, okay. Our next prompt has to be kaleidoscope theme.
Kaleidoscope. There you go. Well, okay. Well, then let's just go all the way in on that, and then.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
But it's shape layer, so it's doing weird things and.
Pink Floyd experience.
But there you go. This is actually a logo generator right now for various companies. That's a Web 2.0 logo from 20 years ago.
Like a quilt.
There you go. So yeah, that is shape repeaters offset paths, not shape repeaters, and tapered strokes. And I've already started using some tapered strokes, mostly in just some flourishes. That's kind of nice to have, whereas I might have used particular before, and try to get really creative with a light emitter and drawing that motion path out to get it to do some cool stuff. I can just make a single path and taper it, trim the path, and have a nice little flourish. So it's fun to play with.
Yeah, for sure. So it is 8:00 just about. Does anyone have any news or show and tell or questions before we
brush? I thought I saw something about RotoBrush, new RotoBrush in beta that's using.
So Yeah, in beta, there is a new version of RotoBrush. I don't believe I have the that version of the beta installed on this machine. So that's kind of a nice thing that they announced. And the brush engine itself that's doing the original selection has not been updated. That's still the same. But all the math underneath and algorithms and I forgot what Adobe said, like their Sensei AI, whatever. That's all been updated in the beta, and so it's way faster if you're doing any rotoing, and it seems to be a lot more solid. Like whereas before I felt like I needed to keep having to redraw some strokes and like take stuff off. It seems to be sticking a lot better now. So it's going to help with a lot of roto work for sure. It's not going to make masking by hand go away by any means, but it works really well with people. I've been noticing.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, it's Stardust. Matt just mentioned.
Yeah.
Matt, say more.
He gave us the link.
It's actually Mike, but
oh, sorry, Mike.
It's all right. I put it on my machine on Sunday, and I really didn't get to use it yet. But they added volume rendering, which, if you don't know what that is, you can take particles and turn off the music and convert them to 3D, which is pretty cool. And now they introduced like kind of this smoky effect you can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn down the sound. Yeah, what I'm liking about Stardust now is that they're it's nice to have Particular and Stardust kind of competing against each other, but it's also great that they're not clones of each other. They're both taking different approaches to particles.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I could own them all. And
this one's actually pretty reasonable. I paid $250 3 years ago, and they keep giving me free updates. And
the updates free still?
Because like everything they do is like so practical, and I use it all the time now. And if you like Element and you like Trap Code, imagine those two having a child, and that's what you get a Stardust.
That's 1.4. Yeah, because you can actually have 3-dimensional geometry as a particle, right?
As an emitter. Oh, and as a particle too. Yeah, because you can convert. Let's say you're emitting 3D spheres. You can. That's where the volume comes in, and it basically kind of makes them turn into like a fluid, or in this case, smoke object. It's pretty cool, like what that new thing can do. It's like they have an example of an explosion where like a natural explosion is bright at first, and then it changes color, and then the smoke kind of rolls off the top. The examples are really good.
Does this run on the GPU?
I believe so. I have an older machine from like 2014, and it still works pretty well. So I imagine if you have a newer machine, you're really gonna like this.
Yes, I played with a demo of it when it first came out, and it was definitely like it was nice to see something new in the After Effects particle world. No pun intended, because there's a plugin. But at the same time too, like I was I've lived in nodes before. I've worked in some of the discrete flame software, and I've worked in Shake, and I've done some stuff in some of the other compositing with nodes. But for some reason, at first, the node workflow in Stardust kind of confused me, because like I could have I think like a wind or some other kind of modifier not connected to anything, but it would still affect things. And so I was having a hard time wrapping my head around that.
That means it's global if it's connected to nothing.
Well, see, now I learned something. Yeah, so apparently all you need is a GPU with OpenGL 3.3 or later. For 3D models. If you're doing other things, I guess you don't need that. A gig of RAM. I don't know. Is anybody really using After Effects with more than a gig of RAM? That's CC 2015 and later. So I know it's pretty cool. Might get me to look at this again if I didn't just buy Red Giant Universe.
Yeah.
I just spent all that money. I don't need to spend $250 more. But Was this just on? Because right now the summer sale is on. There's different plugins on sale or different scripts and stuff on sale for a week at a time, and this is the third of 4. And I don't know if Stardust was on it before or if it's going to be on it later.
I don't know. But one other thing about it, it has physics.
Mhm.
So if you have an emitter emitting spheres, like you can tell them the gravity, how much they weigh, what their bounce is, their friction, all that and more in one place.
Yeah, particles and models can interact, collide, and affect each other
Nice.
while being affected by forces. Actually, Tara, you should read this because you have the soothing
yeah,
educational voice.
The trainer voice.
Yeah, the trainer voice. So,
Give it a whirl.
Particles and molecules can interact, collide, and affect each other while being affected by forces, allowing for the creation of stunning animation with ease. How's that?
I'm just gonna say, if anybody wants some voiceover talent, I
I
think
need
Tara.
a call to action on that.
Actually, could we get that again, but just with a little more feeling?
Yeah. Oh, do you want Valley Girl? She's like super excited about everything. Oh my god. So physical particles, let's talk. Can I cut
that
this
was-
out of our edit when we post to our online?
I'm ready to buy it now.
That was trainer Terra, and then that was like real estate Terra. There was a difference.
Has anyone heard of or used the Boris effect's particle illusion?
I've heard of it. I have not used it.
Wasn't our last meeting we talked about this and it was free? Someone said it was temporarily free. I know it was Boris. I remember talking about it.
I mean, we didn't
Should we
record
record?
last meeting, so I can't tell you.
Not confirm or deny.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have Boris Effects Particle Illusion Standalone is now free.
Whoa.
There we go.
You know,
Yeah,
I'm a Blender user and I'm skeptical of this free thing.
Well, say more. Why are you skeptical of free after using Blender?
Well, no, I love Blender. Don't get me wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, this seems like it's on the same level as Particular, and that isn't. I don't know.
You know, maybe it's just like the pandemic. They're like, I'm tired of having to pay for everything. We need some good news. Particles are free.
Well, it does say that there's, standalone is free, but then there's premium plugins. So I think it looks like standalone is a separate application to play with. For real-time motion graphics and particles, so like this thing that they're showing maybe is the free part, but if you want to put it in After Effects, that's probably where it costs money.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that. Ooh, a library of materials and effects.
Can you use that like the Boris and more than just After Effects, or is that specifically for After Effects?
I think it's for multiple host apps. Well, look at the FAQ. Particle illusion. This is great. We're recording me looking at web pages live. This is gripping content. But it looks like it works with Nuke at least. Because
nice. And I think Nuke is like the cheap or the free version, right? Or is that
Nuke has a free version, I believe. Yeah. But here's the difference. So AE, Premiere, Vegas, Media Composer, etc. You need the premium $295 version. Free is just a standalone that does not work within a host app. But you still get multiple layers, unlimited number emitters, forces and deflectors, up to 8K, 2,500 plus presets, render with alpha. So you can still, there's something to this though. If you are fine working with a separate app to create, your flat asset, bringing into After Effects as a video file with alpha, free is not a bad deal to try it out and play with it.
Yeah, like with the alpha, it definitely lends itself to that pipeline. Like
that kind of surprised me that they're.
Yeah.
Paul, you had me at flat asset.
Well, I don't quite have the educator voice that Tara has, so.
Can you do slightly disappointed parent?
I can. I can't believe you would ask that of me.
Thank you.
How's that?
Nice.
As long as we're talking technical stuff, for those of you who are in the Discord, you might have seen me pop in there for a hot minute talking about After Effects is all these green bars. What's happening? Turns out, if anyone else happened to be curious about that, that is an incompatibility issue with your graphics card. You just have to backgrade to a previous graphics card update, and you're good to go on that green bar issue.
Oh, that stinks.
But if that pops up, then you know that like you updated your graphics card and you need to undo that. So there you go. We have the solution. Should we do our giveaway?
I think we can do a giveaway.
That's always fun.
Unless people don't want free stuff.
Yeah, does
Well,
anyone
I mean,
not?
Listen, I always want free stuff.
I shouldn't get us too excited. It's one person is going to get a free thing. I mean, it's Creative Cloud for a year, but still.
I can be excited for whoever wins.
I like watching people get free stuff. I watch game shows.
There you go. All right, so I'm going to stall for a little bit while I'm going to bring up a random number generator. And we can be talking about things.
Does anyone want to forego the opportunity to win free Adobe Creative Cloud for a year? Like, has anyone won previously, or is anyone just like, oh, I have it through work, I'm fine? Is all of you excited for Adobe?
Oh yeah, I came in late, so I'm like, I have no say. I'm just excited to be here. Yeah.
I will say that if you are the chosen one, that's we're going to need an email address that's not associated with an enterprise Adobe ID. It's got to be a personal or single, not enterprise. So I'm going to go ahead and generate a random number, and that random number is 7. And now I'm going to count down 7 people from the tab here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Peter.
Peter Wagner.
So I won it?
Peter Wagner,
Peter,
you won it.
Yay!
Well,
Hooray!
camera on here. Hey.
Yay!
Ah,
So Peter, if you want to or stick around, or we'll make sure, or you should make sure to get a hold of us and get us an email address, and we will
okay.
get your information over to Adobe and get you a free year of Creative Cloud.
All right.
Yeah, you can, if you don't want to stick around after the call, you can message Paul or I on Discord, and then I'm on the Facebook page a lot. You can send me a DM there. So
Cool.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Now I'm going to go check out that other, what was that particle software called?
Particle Illusion.
Particle Illusion. Perfect. I'm going to go look at that.
Forest effects.
I'm going to stop the recording. So thank you, digital audience, for viewing the recording. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a good evening.